So like what makes you guys so certain that you're building a brand to last and what you're doing versus what a lot of these other kind of fly by night guys are doing?
Yeah, great question. So I actually used to market a lot of these guys. I would run their Facebook ads, their Instagram ads. And so I've seen them blow up and then blow out because they weren't focused on operations. They weren't focused on, systems, or they weren't focused on the actual product. They were just outsourcing it. And that's not a business. And that's why you see these fly by night people. Now for us, what makes us different is that, yes, we start out with drop shipping, but the efficiency of doing that then helps solidify brand. So the different tiers of revenue then allow us to actually make different adjustments to the store, and it just gives that person a progression through creating a brand. So what I mean by that is the 0 to 30K in revenue with a Shopify store is just validating the offer and validating where you're going. When you figure that out, when you have that process down, the next tier is 30 to 80K per month. Now, if you get to 80K per month, the investments now become more brand related. Investing into packaging, investing into more custom content. And that's how you transcend. In fact, one of our brands now is pushing about $2.6 million a year, started about a year ago, went through the whole ascension model. And the reason why we're able to do that is because we were an agency prior and we saw where the bottlenecks were with all the different clients at different levels of scale. And so we start to focus on really seasoning the accounts and really scaling them up, because when you see automation companies in a marketplace, you don't get data and they can change their rules at any time. When you work with Shopify, and this is typically why most people go D2C, is that you own the data. So you can get repeat purchases if a channel goes down like Facebook or TikTok, whatever the case is. And so that's what allows them to maneuver a bit easier instead of being locked up and now the person is out their investment or the person is out the funds that are in the platform.
I really love that process. And it honestly is kind of a lot of the stuff that we teach inside scaling with systems, which is like, almost sell before you create. So if you're a business owner and you're trying to scale a business online, having a brand is massive, and having like full end-to-end ownership of the product, the ads, everything is incredible for you to be able to scale. But it kind of removes the nimbleness in the very beginning that's required in order to find that product market fit, which it sounds like kind of what you're doing from 0 to 30K. It's like, hey, although the brand is how we're going to retain you on Amazon or Shopify, whatever, it's in the very beginning, we almost need to kind of just throw a bunch of stuff out there and see what sticks. And then whatever does stick, we build a brand around that one product. Is that correct?
Very, very close. So we have a lot of data. I mean, we've seen many different offers. And so our product research process is pretty damn great, because we have not only the D2C angle, but we're not just looking at metrics of is this product actually moving? We look at how is this going to create additional value, or how can it have perceived value? Because that's where with Amazon or with Walmart, you see the margins start to cram down because it's the products that people are buying every single day. There's no differentiating factor of buying a table or buying, some sort of household good. So when we look at different products, we want to figure out the angle on how we're going to address the market with it. And that's what makes us different. And that's why my partners, they do a great job of identifying the product, but then seeing how we can package that and actually build perceived value. Because the main metrics that you look for in e-commerce are your cost per acquisition is going to be basically fixed. Like it's going to be there depending on your product cost. Your next thing is your AOV, your average order value. So how much are they spending with you, and how can we drive that up with perceived value or additional things onto the cart? And then lastly is your lifetime value, which is how many times are they buying from you, which with Shopify, you can do that really easily with Facebook ads, with email and SMS, and other ways to retarget your current base.
And are you like, what's your typical, because I have a lot of people that watch this that are marketers or advertisers, they're nerds like us. So like, what's your typical upfront cash return on investment when you guys are running ads? And is it, so you're scaling these things typically through ads? Is that what I'm assuming?
Yeah, so it's typically through ads. In the beginning, I mean, I would say our first 1 to 2 months is a lot of testing. So typically it's break even, or you're making a bit, maybe a couple $1,000s on the front end. But really, it's just validating those KPIs. We have a 300-point checklist that we look for on the store. We have about 120 tests that we do for the advertising side and how we look at things. So if it hits those KPIs and we see different things, our first goal is to hit that $30,000 per month as a KPI. Because the secret is, once you get to $30,000 a month, it's very easy to go to $80,000 to $90,000 a month. It's not hard at all. You've already validated the offer. You probably just need more custom content or the guts to spend more. Right. And so that's where, the capital lines come into play, and the structure of the account. As long as the accounts have been seasoned, there's no problem with scaling it up to 80 to 90K per month pretty quickly. In fact, when we were working as an agency with a lot of different brands, or the companies that I've worked with, I mean, we've scaled brands from 80K to 1.5 million in 3 months. So it's not hard to do it once you have the offer validated. It's just a matter of knowing what to do once you hit those KPIs and what the data is telling you.
Got it. And who is the typical segment that you're working with? Is it, because I think we're going to start talking about the bottlenecks here in a moment, but is the segment someone that's just looking to start an e-commerce business so that they can have something that fuels their passion or their drive or something like that? Or are you helping other D2C brands grow into a massive multiple six, multiple seven, multiple eight figure?
So we have two different main target audiences. The first one is more so of an investor profile in which they want exposure to e-commerce in their portfolio. They don't want to do the Amazon and marketplace route because of all the rules that happen with that. And they don't want to just invest into a stock like Shopify or Amazon. They want direct to consumer exposure. And you can't typically get that unless you're working with an e-commerce aggregator, which is typically private equity and other funds associated with that. So our niche is really working with, real estate investors, other business owners that understand not only the time horizon of it, but also our long-term mindset of this is to have a portfolio of e-commerce brands that are not only cash flowing and we can control revenue, but we can introduce different products and even sell these stores down the road. So it's more of a long-term play. We're not here just for a year to 2 years. We really want to extend this out to 3 to 5 because the progression model of the buyer on the buy side that we have, we can package these up to be sell side ready, which means that when we go to sell the brand, we already have hedge funds or other companies that are ready to buy these and we're already getting bids on them already. So it's really to farm these brands to then hand them off to the next buyer.